All right. Welcome, everyone. Hope you guys had a good meal and quite eager to listen and participate into this panel discussion on the topic of adopting AI in logistics. So where we are having different panelists from representing different industries. So AI is the buzzword we have been discussing these days. Why? Because this is the future. Now, how we see future is a digital workforce with X number of humans and Y number of AI agents in your team. Is that something we all are looking for, the future? Probably yes. That is going to be a future which is not that far. And based on this digital workforce, are we really prepared for that? Are we talking about the practical, functional behaviors and adopting this new technology into and blend it with the industry-based concepts or not? That is the key. But when we talk about the future, it is very important to talk about the present. And with present and future kind of a concept, I really remember a very good saying from one of my favorite movies, Kung Fu Panda, where hope you would have noticed Master Wei had a beautiful quotation saying that yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery, today is the best gift we have from life, and that's why it's called present. And in context of AI, what is important is we talk about the present, where are we ready? Is the industry ready to adopt AI solutions, technology, and are we just talking about the technology and pushing for that? Or are we also talking about the functional requirements? Actually, it is AI. Do we understand right now whether a simple RPA or automation, how is it different from Gen AI, and how Gen AI is different from agentic AI? So these are some of the basic things we will have to check. And as technology intensive industry and the people who are from the technology companies here, consulting companies here, it is very important to align with the business functions, with different industries onto this. And hence, we have people from different industries representing. So I'll do a quick introduction. So we have Mohit from Western Digital, representing technology and digital industry. We have Saurav Anand from Unilever, representing CPG and FMCG industry. Our own Chakri from Kuninagar, representing LSPs. We have Brajesh Kumar Singh from Hindalco, representing metals and minings. And we have Puneet from Mondelez representing food and beverages. I'll hand over, I'll ask everyone to introduce themselves, and then basically we'll have a few minutes to express, they will have few minutes to express their thoughts, how the adoption in AI is happening in their industries, what are the key challenges they are facing, and what is their vision for the industry so that we can have some inputs to make the solutions better aligned to the respective industry. So we'll start with Saurav Anand.
Okay. Saurav here. Been with Unilever for about 3 years. Prior to that, about 16 years in the consulting space. Focused on supply chain analytics as core domains. So yeah. So if you look at it from FMCG standpoint and supply chain overall, and in transportation in particular, right? When it looks at agentic opportunities or the opportunities that AI opens up for us, there are areas where you'd find opportunities for deflection. So how do you deflect problem statements? So it's all about how do you pull human out of the loop. So these are these opportunities where you get massive dollar savings in terms of cost reductions, efficiency gains, and all of it. And there is a larger spectrum of work wherein you are making the human more efficient in what is operating, right? So how do you provide more actionable insight, bring it more to the table so that he operates in a much more efficient manner, is able to do, if he was able to handle X, you add a delta to it. So you're making his operations or his ability to churn out much more larger volume, be more effective in a wider sense. So in a way, that's something that I'm seeing, that's how we are seeing it evolving. Certain use cases that we've also been experimenting with. Interactions, that's the one fundamental thing, and which is very, very close to anybody in the transportation space, right? So the number of emails that you respond to carriers, you have got your warehouse guys chasing you, a truck is still not here, where is the truck? A very simple nascent question, but how do you respond to it? Could you think about a scenario where you could have a bot instead of a human checking on, let's say you have a plethora of track and trace operators, picking up some data, providing that input. You could also have things about, hey, I want to change my slot, my truck is broken down, I'm not making it at whatever particular slot that was, or the appointment that was. So how do I do that? So these are the kind of opportunities that we are kind of exploring. Are there challenges? Yes, quite a few. Certain things that we thought were pretty naive or pretty simple, the ground realities and the ground complexities that they bring along with them. How do you manage those challenges? And from a change management perspective, we are still thinking about human in the loop. I don't think we're at a stage where we would want human out of the loop yet. So how do we make it more effective, drive that change, and drive the ecosystem also along with it, right? So I think that's where the challenge is.
That's truly said, and the experience speaks for itself. So while implementing any of these AI solutions, it is very important at the moment to have the human in the loop concept, because right now it is not very matured that we can leave it to AI entirely. So, but as it gradually learns, as the technology advances and matures, then definitely the interaction with the human will reduce, increasing the level of autonomy there, and that is really wonderful. So thanks, Saurabh, for the initial thoughts onto this and sharing your experience. Now I'll invite Mohit to talk about his experience with respect to AI and how the digital and technology industries are prepared for it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I have been into the logistics, inventory, and transportation for almost 24, 25 years. I've been with Western Digital for a little over 5 years. So from the high-tech industry, it's a little different, or it's a more complex ball game where you have very tight delivery timelines, and the product life cycle itself is very short. So any action that is required to be done correctly and in a very small response time is what you have. So when we are delivering our products to our customers, we get very tight timelines, right? And that's valid for across high-tech industries. And that's where getting to an ETA predictability, our lead times being accurate, that piece of information is so very important, and getting it current and updated. So that really helps to deliver our products and into a more correct time, right? And that's where we at Western Digital are exploring how do we get agents to be able to turn or churn the data over the historical shipments that we've had, and be able to keep our data current and progressive, so that when we are doing the planning, it is more current, it is more accurate, and we have a better predictability to our customers. Now, all our customers, or most of our customers, do really expect us to provide them the actual ETAs or the hubs when the product is coming in, and they would really penalize us if we don't provide the hubs. So getting an ETA or the information from our partners like Kune or any of our carriers is now becoming so more critical, where it's not just the hub, but it's also each and every update that's coming in is required to be provided to our customers. So that's again from the transportation side. Now coming to the compliance side, we are in a very heavy regulated industry, right? So any geopolitical situation has a significant impact. So whether it's a war, transactions between US, China, UK, the EMEAs. So any change that is required in these regions is required to be moved on to our system, right? So we have to respond. So earlier, we would get timelines that, okay, this is a change to be done to the system, this party is kind of restricted, and it gets applicable from so-and-so date. Now, the way the regulations are changing, it is this change is applicable now. So how do we get our systems to respond immediately? That's the challenge that we are having now. So we are working on an ability to, once we get this kind of information coming from DCATs or any of our systems that are reporting to restricted parties, how our agents can really impact or progress those orders, put them on hold, ensure that we are not shipping out any non-compliant orders. So that's becoming more and more critical, where the use of AI is more becoming a saver for us, or how do we use it to really be able to take action and not just provide suggestions or more predictable insights, right? So Now, from our industry, there's also a significant importance around documentation, the customs rules. So all that piece has now become very more complex. And as part of this journey, our approach has been always, let's do a business-centric AI approach. So invest what really adds value to the business, where they see innovation, and what is really solving their problem. So we have, some real things that we've done is we come up with a logistics part, like Sarah was saying, be able to provide information. Okay, where is my shipment? When is it getting there? What is the invoice amount? Those kind of things which were earlier being asked by, a control tower or a logistics person would go in. A lot of that has become self-sufficient, where people, either from the sales side, are able to get that piece of information themselves and be able to talk to the customers. The additional opportunities now, what we are exploring is how do we get our systems to be ready to respond to global changes like I talked through. So that's where we have a significant amount of work that is happening. And then again, product classification is another key area where in our industry, because the product has multiple applications, the classification changes based on the application. So being able to predict our classification, that is another area where we are kind of being able to explore AI.
Right. Great. Thanks a lot, Mohit, for these insights. Now, with this industry where we talk about the digital components, the technology components, and the current geopolitical situation which has been into play for last few years, and probably it is going to be there in near future as well. The agility in any kind of response is very important, which you highlighted. And one of the good use cases, not just from the OTM perspective, but from GTM perspective, is what you shared in terms of product classifications, in terms of changing the trade laws, some faster response to that. I'm sure companies, the trade data providers are anyhow doing that, but there is a lot of scope for AI applications to act on this kind of data and react quickly to those. So it is not just the predictive thing, because wars and geopolitical situation, I'm sure the prediction there won't be quite accurate, right? So that is where not just the predictive part, but a faster response on the reactive part is very, very important. So thanks for your insights. Now I would like to talk about metals and minings with Brajesh with us.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon. So now when it's come to metal and mining, so one input to all the SIs, this is the most unexplored, I can say, industry till now. So there's huge opportunity for everyone to get into this industry, learn their business process, what are their KPIs which they want to be to get through the automation or AI or whatever we call that is. It's automation, AI, Gen AI, predictive AI, agentic AI. So it's a lot of confusion there, but still there is a huge opportunity into that. Now I will talk about Hindalco. So basically metal industry, be it steel, aluminum, copper, we are heavily dependent on raw materials, right? Iron ore, or for aluminum it is bauxite, and for copper it is copper concentrate. So we operate across the value chain, right? So starting from bauxite mining, we have our captive bauxite mines, right? Then to refining the bauxite into our refineries, right? Then coal mining, we are procuring coal also and mining also. Then we have our captive power plants, because smelter is it's operation where you cannot compromise on power. Once it's power shut down, then huge loss for you, right? So there has to be a continuous supply of power to the smeltings, right? So we have captive power plant and we have aluminum smelting side by side, right? Then we are further progressing to downstream, where we are producing flat roll products, then extrusions, then foils, then battery cases for electric vehicles, right? So we are that. So this is the aluminum part of it, where at each event, if you see, we don't have any AI feature today, right? So definitely we would like to have those things, because a lot of KPIs are dependent on that, and we don't have any decision-making tool also, no predictive tool available today, or any historical data. Everything is in manual, in Excel. So later on, I will share a very interesting business use case which we faced recently, but later on, okay. So this is the thing, copper concentrate when it's come to iron also, we have iron ores in India, so we are fortunate that we are getting most of the things from there. But copper concentrate we will not find in India. So 100% is import, right? So it's a very complex network when it comes to metal and mining, right? Involving multiple stakeholders, external parties, suppliers, right? On the supply side. When it's come to the outgoing side, then we have dependency of service providers. Right? So I will keep my all discussion around OTM and WMS, right? So we have implemented OTM in outbound up to certain level, but we are not getting any KPIs out of it, maybe because of some historical reasons. And also what we just learned or we got insight from past 1.5 day, that Oracle is coming up with a lot of tools, AI tools over OTM, WMS, and other stuffs. Last week I was in Hyderabad, so I got there on EBS side also. Lot many AI tools are coming up. So hope for the best. Let's see what we'll get in near future. And so the experience I will share later with a business use case. Challenges which I see basically, we have a dependency on external systems, right? We have a core ERP system, but when it's come to OTM, definitely your Vahan, your GPS platforms, right? Your CRIS, Central Railway Information System. So we have some sort of 60% our movement is through railway, and 40% through road. And railway means inbound and outbound both I am covering. Yesterday I came to know, or last week I came to know that now CRIS, they have stopped sharing data to those customers who are on OTM. Now why? Because our OTM is hosted in Frankfurt, and Indian government doesn't want our data to go outside India. So I was just discussing with Oracle folks and other team members, now please come back with some jugaad. Kaise karna hai? So that discussion is going, but this is really, we have to thought through, because unless you get the railway data, you are nowhere, because your entire industry, metal industry is on the railway. I had a discussion with Tata Steel also. They are mostly on the railways, correct? If we are moving out our goods, that is also to port, it will go by railway, which is very economical way of transporting materials. In near future, it will increase. So that is the thing. So these are the challenges. And definitely, if we see the kind of industry in which we are, it's a legacy. Hindalco was not built in a day. It is 1960. So the skill set of workforce which we have, right? That also it is a challenge to how to empower them, how to upgrade their skill sets. Definitely it's a slow process, but it is a continuous process where we can uplift them to bring to the AI understanding level, right? This thing. Next is your data security, which is a major challenge, right? We all think, let's jump into the AI, but we have to thought through many things. We should have a strategic plan in place, right? With leadership, driven from the leadership level, right? So these are the things, challenges which we are facing. We are still not into the AI, but yes, hopefully we have to run we have to be at par with other industries, like our colleagues we talked about. So definitely we are hoping for the best in this industry, and there are a lot of opportunity in this industry.
Right. Thanks, Brijesh. I think, as rightly said, this is a bit underexplored industry where with metals and mining, because of their complexity in the nature of the business and because of the huge volumes and how various mode of transportation and more from the change management perspective, because the people involved with this industry they are not that tech savvy, except for few companies. Hindalco has a very good IT team and handling it very gracefully. But at the ground level, what we need, the AI adoption, it can take some time. I think the need of the hour is a simple solution, which is on the front, it is simple. Background, complex processes to automate the things, and that is required for this industry for sure. So points well taken, sir. I think this is the need of the industry, and surely I'm sure with all the SIs here and Oracle will be certainly looking out for certain solutions to make the things easy for you and for the industry overall. Thank you so much for your inputs. And now we'll talk to Puneet from Mondelez to talk about the food and beverages industry.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for hosting us, SIG. So what I feel, I mean, most of the panel has already talked about the challenges and all, but what I think, AI is a journey. It's a multi-fold journey. So, like, first you need to have your systems integrated in a way that they talk to each other real time. You have unified platform so that you have data consistency. So AI, I think it's more based on data, the quality of data. If you have, if your quality data is not of good quality, then you would not be able to do, your models would not work. They would not give you the predictive outcomes that you are trying to achieve. So I think first you need to have that in place, and then as Nikhil was saying, that you should then start using the capabilities of the systems, AI capabilities of systems, and then start building on that as a use case going forward, so that not only from the management point of view, but the end users also understand how it is helping them in their day-to-day activity, how it is improving their ways of working, how they can do better jobs, how they can concentrate not on their routine jobs, but go on handling the exception cases, or work on high-end activities like risk management and all those areas. And I would second Mohit also, because we also come from food industry where product classifications and food licensing and all those are critical elements. So I think AI can help there in helping us in doing these justifications and product specifications. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Puneet. I think food and beverage industries, safety is one of the most important aspect. And if with respect to both the transportation as well as the item classifications and the global trade management part of it, these are very important, and specifically from the FDA licensing perspective, and in India, FSSAI and those kind of things. I think that is where some sort of help from AI is definitely will be very welcome by the industry, right? Yeah. So excellent. Thanks for all the inputs. Now I think we would like to have a cross discussion in terms of the challenges and basically any other thoughts that let's say all the experts here would like to check for. Sorry, really sorry. So we have no. So dal barabar. No. So I'll tell you one of the interesting things. Let me correct this thing. So why I'm talking about this is all these industries will be handled by the logistics guys, right? And their role is not just to handle let's say their own business, their client's business. So all these industries are going to be collaborating on the AI solutions with LSPs, and that is going to be the future. So they don't have to just provide the solutions for themselves, but to extend it to their clients, and not just one industry, because logistics service providers do it for all the industries, right? So thoughts from Chakri onto this, and more importantly on the collaboration and what we call as collaborative agents, not within the organization, but we are talking about much beyond, which is cross-industry as well for companies and this industry of logistics service providers.
Thanks, Nikhil.
Thank you.
Basically today, I would like to start, I think most of you might know my name as Chakri, but my full name is Chakravarti Yadav. It's been almost like 26 years where I've been working with transportation applications all the way from green screens of AS400 to the latest Gen I kind of stuff. And the way I would always start is, don't forget your lessons learned before you embark on a new journey when we speak about AI, right? And why do I say that is because when we all started, we say, okay, first there was record bookkeeping, then you have system entry, then you slowly started automating certain things, and then you are now looking at AI is concerned. So that's how we slowly started evolving the various use cases is concerned. Now, to make it very simple from my perspective is, when I ask about from a logistics point of view, the reason I took everybody in the, wanted to talk last is because we hear our customers and we are at the last point where we have to execute the strategies of your supply chain, strategies of your cargo movement, and that's where we are at the ground force is concerned. And very simple example I would like to start my AI thought process is because, let's take a very simple example is, I have to get a delivery status, very simple. If I ask some of my product vendors, hey, sometimes it is difficult to make your driver to update the delivery status. And the most interesting statement they say, sir, I have a GPS signal, your vehicle goes into geofence, your vehicle comes out from the geofence, boom, it's delivered. What if that guy went to that yard to sleep? Or for some reasons he couldn't deliver, but he comes out. Now that's not intelligence to me. And that is where we hear there should be a human touch. And why I call it as lessons learned is there was digital twin. We had people, human touch, like as you rightly said, human touch with technology. And again, I go back to the same point of the mentioned person, is you have to do jugaad in logistics. 100% intelligence is not going to happen irrespective of whatever we bring in. We can bring intelligence, but we cannot bring jugaad into any kind of transportation process because it's very dynamic in nature, it has to understand. Now this is where I start with 3-point journey in AI, what we would expect from a logistics point of view. Our first point would be, who are your stakeholders of your AI? So I saw a couple of presentations that, oh, I can write a prompt, I can get my last year graphs and other things is concerned. But if you see from a people point of view, from a human touch point of view, you have control towers, you have the actual driver who is executing for you, and you have the managerial staff who would like to see what's happening at the ground kind of thing. When you bring an AI, there is an 80-20 rule. 80% of the information is captured by those ground force, and your technology should enable them, because when you capture the data correct, then the remaining part is always correct. But the problem always lies is, how do you enable intelligence to that particular 80% problem where the data is being captured? Remaining, if you do, whether you have intelligence, you have BI, you have whatever it is, it will work properly. So the focus is the ground staff, how our AI can enable these particular stakeholders to enable the rest of the chain to work properly is concerned. So that's where the first intelligence has to be coming. Like as I said, just going vehicle inside, vehicle outside doesn't mean it's delivered kind of thing. It needs to be something more. I mean, we can have many use cases, but I'm giving you very, very basic things to understand kind of thing. My next topic, which I also like to see is, when you go for Gen AI or when you go for AI, it is not like a Google search. It is not a chat. Then you don't need an AI. But a lot of times today what we do is, we write some text and we expect system to imagine what is in my brain and deliver what I want. That doesn't happen. If your prompt is not accurate enough, the result will never be accurate. Now my next question is, we are all trying to create a model, or if you create a model where you are excessively depending on prompt-based approach, it's not going to work. Why? Again, the ground staff are college passed out, graduates, non-tech savvy kind of stuff. These are the people who are operating your system. And if you expect them to be a very knowledgeable, creating a very intelligent prompt, it's not going to happen. So you have to create a model where for an AI to provide an answer to you, your prompt mechanism should also be well versed. Otherwise, it will not have a kind of thing. Now, when I also go into prompting, especially me coming from the APAC region, English prompts won't work. And if you ask somebody from various other countries, they may not be so well versed with the English, their vocabulary, their sentence formation. Maybe you can catch certain phrases to deliver what you want to do, but it should be multilingual also. Your prompt should be multilingual. Your prompt should be simplified enough that they can provide a basic information and do kind of. And while we are also dealing with that particular scenario, I also want to see the third problem statement is how do you interact with this AI as a digital twin, as a human? If I have to interact with my digital twin, or that's where my AI agents comes into the picture, is what's the medium? When I say medium, is it like I have to go to a chatbot kind of user interface and I have to deliver? Or what if my office uses WhatsApp? My driver says order ID delivered. It should have the intelligence enough to go back and create a status. I know that in some countries or some customers we have done WhatsApp integration with the system, WeChat integration with the system. But what if somebody says order ID delivered with a question mark? It cannot be considered as delivered, right? So the system should have the intelligence to understand that particular statements which are now used in your social media, which is currently updated. Because we had cases like, I am asking a question to my driver, is cargo delivered? But because the phrase was there, delivered, automatically delivered status got updated. So when you are having a user interface handy, like Line, WeChat, or WhatsApp, nowadays we also do something on the Teams kind of thing, or we are also doing something Zoom, where you can plug in the bots kind of stuff. In those particular areas also, when you are giving that interface, system should have an intelligence to differentiate between a query versus a statement versus an update kind of thing. And that will be the third level where we enable our stakeholders to work with the system, but it also need to be. So to summarize, there are basically three use cases. One is the user interface, how I need to do. I don't want to go to a separate application, separate chatbot, separate. I should use my social media or my Teams or my Zooms, and I still able to update. While I do that one, it should understand the difference between a communication versus an update versus an information kind of thing. Second thing is when we are creating a model where you are expecting somebody to prompt, it should be very simplified enough that anybody can be able to use that one. Or at the same time, the prompt has to be in multilingual so that the formation of the text is properly driven kind of thing. And finally, who are the stakeholders? Because my heavy investment, if you are going to make me do for AI implementation, is for the 20% of the people who want to generate reports, who want to do chatbot. It's not going to work. Because that's not where I will get more money, because I have to service my customers, and I can service my customers by executing the cargo. So the team who is executing should have tools which is having AI, rather than the team who is trying to coordinate with that particular people to do this kind of AI is concerned. So with that, I rest my thing that these are the three use cases as a logistics we would like to see, where ground force needs to be more empowered with the AI combined with a digital twin, which is already there for us. So the digital twin should be the AI, and the jugaad can be left over to the human. Thank you.
Thanks, Chakri. I think quite insightful when we talk about the practical ground level operations and the challenges with respect to prompts, prompt engineering, and those kind of things. Similarly, what is important is the data readiness. So I would like to ask and open for discussion on two key aspects with respect to AI adoption. One is the role of data readiness in this. We know that definitely to do any kind of predictive model, prescriptive models, we will require data, and not just the data in terms of volume, but the data quality has to be good so that it can be more precise, more accurate. So that is one aspect. And another important thing from a strategy perspective, many companies, many organizations have a top-down approach where we are talking about the AI at an organizational level across various functions, and that is the key driver for the overall AI strategy. That is one. But do you think that leaves focus, I mean, that eliminates or reduces the focus on key functions like logistics specifically, and we should, our organization should also focus on domain or function specific, not just the organization level strategy from AI, but also function specific. So any thoughts on this?
Maybe I'll take that. I think having the right quality data in the right form is the right food for AI to churn out things, right? Or an action. And at Unilever, what we are actually investing in right now is laying down the right foundation for it, for logistics in particular. And why I'm saying that? Because in the last couple of years, I think we have experimented quite a few things, but as in the quality of the data, the way the master data is maintained, and the way it flows through your transactions, right? And how does it impact the final outcomes? So that was one major challenge, and that we are trying to address, establishing the right foundations in place. So wherein we are allowing, or we are bringing in systems in a way that the data flows through across, you have cross-functional or cross-system integrations tightly placed in. So you're laying down the foundations for a better or for more efficient AI models to operate on top.
Yeah. So similarly at Western Digital, what we are doing is to ensure this accuracy of data, we always have only one master. There is only one master, and all other systems will interface from that. So what that is helping us now is everybody calls an apple, right? And it's a consistent apple. So now when you are trying to get more data out of it, or any transaction related information, it is consistent across the systems. And that is now really helping us to be able to come up with multiple use cases, be able to use that data across multiple applications. And I think data, like you said, is really the core of having it clean, having it simple, or having it consistent.
I think I would go one step back. I think we should also look at if there are multiple sources of data, then we should ensure that the data that we are feeding to AI, the source is accurate, is giving you the accurate information, is consistent. So that as Saurabh was saying, your data should be of a good quality, then only you would be able to do a proper prediction, right? So that should be what I feel.
Yeah, so I think the key takeaway I take from this particular point, right, which both of you and Saurabh also mentioned, is that one of the key foundations is some of the best practices in the ERP or logistics applications, which is called as single source of truth, right? And I think that kind of a level maturity most of the organizations have now, but some are still lacking in there. And once that level is achieved, then it is important that once we have that overall foundation structure in place, that we have a single source of truth for a particular information, we have good quality data, then the AI models are going to work on that.
I just want to add on that one more point is, Oracle has been in this business from last 25 years, right? So one of the thought process is you are giving a product and you are asking us to model the product to process whatever businesses we have. Now, taking the best practices of this particular industry, transportation with various verticals, you do maintain something called public data, right? When I take an end-to-end visibility or a transportation process or anything, I think somewhere Oracle should also start involving when you want to go to AI is process as part of your product delivery. That means, like for example, if I'm having, if you take any transportation, air, ocean, road, whatever it is, there won't be more than like 3,000 statuses on biggest bet which I have taken it up. But what happens is that today, when I speak with a non-OTM-WMS, right, inevitably my brain speaks about buy shipment, sell shipment. So the other vendors also sometimes they speak about buy shipment, sell shipment. So we have embedded a particular terminology. So when we speak about master data harmonization, if Oracle comes up for an AI based, that this is the industry terms for a particular data management is concerned, it might take time to change, but once that change happens, then all the industry people, irrespective of whichever industry we come from, we will use that word, and that will also enable to create processes inside Oracle. Like for example, if I get a delivery status, for example, just for hex sake, I'm calling it as 3,000. But over a period of time, everybody knows, okay, 3,000 is this. But we also know that there are EDI standards are there, 214, 210. So that means that nomenclature also comes into picture. So when we speak about getting a product and we model the product, if Oracle also enables to process that particular model, it will save our implementation time, one. Two, it will also enable you to come out with a default processes of AI, where it will also help you, and we just adapt to that and make sure that our cycles are also reduced kind of thing. Sorry.
Yeah, so now here comes my business use case. So basically, I'm just taking forward the discussion of the masters. So what happened in Hindalco, we tried to build a logistics inside tower, LIT, right? So in that, initially, our ERP system was under implementation phase. So my colleagues Amitabh Das and Salman is here. So they were part of this project. So initially we started uploading data, CSV and Excel, getting everything from business, very comfortable, upload, right? But when ERP went live, then the actual thing started where the differences starts coming. Manual versus system. So you are downloading shipment report from ERP system, it is showing something else. In LIT, it is showing something different. And LIT was basically built for the cost analysis, right? And even for your freight cost, what we have incurred, percentage of our COGS, cost of goods sold, and many cost analysis KPIs were there which were handling. So we started deep diving into what is the root cause of this. So after some time, our management said, see, Excel and CSV, it's fine, but now it's high time to integrate with your system. So data integration, another challenge started, right? So we have siloed data, legacy systems, and then the ask for integrating LIT with the system, right? So we tried to integrate. So what we did, the shipment, the sale part, first we integrated with the LIT. Okay. Now the rate master, which our function team, logistics team has provided. Okay. So it was the location, the city was something different, and in shipment master it was something different. So what Nikhil said and Chakri, there should be single truth for the masters. Now today we have your Oracle CX, customer experience SaaS product. We have ERP. So what happened, actually what happened wrong, when we were creating the customer master, so in that there is a field, city, state and pin code, right? So we have put a validation there that it should validate with the GST portal. You enter the pin code, it will pull everything. So that was perfect. But in ERP side, there is a location master where we uploaded migrated data, the legacy historical data. Now, Bangalore as a city, right? In shipment report, it was coming Bengaluru, Bangalore, something like that. Amitabh came to me, I am getting 5 Bangalores. Why this? Then again we get into it. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's correct the location master in ERP side because CX is perfect. It is validated. But the real challenge was the rate master was already defined and uploaded in OTM. All your route, network, everything was defined. So it was not possible to correct so much of data. So that's what, wherever you are, take your time and have a single master at one place. Don't place it on multiple instances, multiple locations. Right? It will create a huge problem in future. Yeah. So that was the thing. Even when they started that LIT project, so we were in the ERP side, we were doing the ERP rollouts. So the cross-functional collaboration, it was missing. We get onboarded later on when we completed the ERP. So you should have a cross-functional collaboration since beginning in your project. So see, customer success, basically they hinges on various critical factors or enablers. Your data integration, data quality, right? Your cross-functional collaborations, right? So all these things and phased implementation. Don't go big bang implementation. Always have a phased implementation, right? Go for route optimization, something like that. Small steps, baby steps take. And then when you are comfortable, then in last phase you can scale it to the end-to-end supply chain visibility, and whatever you want, you will get it. That is the thing.
Yeah, I think pretty important when it comes to adopting an AI strategy. I think it is also important, as he rightly said, if the question is how to eat an elephant, answer is one bite at a time.
You should also give some example for vegetarians.
Well, non-vegetarians also don't like electricity.
So for vegetarians, let me put it this way. So if we think that while having or enjoying pani puri, we'll take a bhatura instead of small pani puri, we cannot eat it, right? So let the pani puri be pani puri and bhatura be bhatura. So probably that, if that makes any sense.
That analogy makes sense.
Actually, taking that same thought, coming back to the Oracle recommendation, right? Like one of my old boss always used to say, very similar is crawl, walk, run. Even we don't want Oracle to come with a very big bang AI kind of thing. Very small AI can be exactly the same example. We entered city, Bangalore, something like that. You already have a tool for location validation. Bring that small AI to say that, hey, your address, you entered this, but master says this is there as per the locations wherever it is. And the AI can be as simple as converting all of them into a standard city names.
True.
That could be a very simple, but it gives a
Very
lot of
effective,
impact.
very effective.
Exactly. So your AI can be as simple as that. It can be as simple as like crawling, right, in the AI business. These things, if it comes as part of the product, we don't need to break our heads and see, oh, where is my data quality kind of thing. Because data decides your entire AI, right?
Chakri, it reminds me, our managing director, Mr. Satish Pai, always says us that think big, but do small.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always think big.
Correct. Good. So to start with, the Oracle can also come out with these kind of basic use cases for us, which will actually help us to maintain our data quality, and then we can slowly improve as we go on, kind of stuff.
Right, and I mean, before we open up for any kind of inputs from the audience or discussions, just a quick, if any one of you want to share your thoughts on organization top-down strategy, including all the functions for AI, or for example, supply chain or logistics specific strategy, or maybe some other thoughts on the hybrid approach. So any thoughts in this?
So, okay. So see, Nikhil, basically if I see the metal sector, we are incurring huge freight cost. If I take example of Hindalco, we have somewhere around 4,000 crore per annum. It's freight cost, right? So a lot of pilferages, lot of demurrage detention charges we are incurring, correct? So the best use case, if I see, because see the commercial side of the business, if you see procurement, or order to cash cycle or financials, right? They are already on ERP side and they are have a good visualization tool they have already. But the logistics, which I can say a little bit of unorganized sector in our metal industry, there we need to put more focus on this AI building capabilities. Yeah.
I'll have a similar, just to add on that one, while every other industry looks at inflation, cost rise and all,
Yeah.
I think we are the only logistics world where we will come with our customers where they say, hey, how to reduce the spend.
Yeah.
So while everything goes inflation, logistics has to reduce the cost kind of thing. So that is also a place where looking at your financial data, and I know that in OTM we have a couple of tools where you can simulate, get the best cost kind of thing, but that is again user driven. But if there is an AI which again comes back and tells me like, hey, your historical data is so and so, and this is what is the best routing, best planning. Because again here where we are more worried, or I won't say worried, but more thoughtful has to go is the planning best price is again done by the consultant who has configured the rates which we have done. But again, as if there is an AI within the system which tells me that this is what you have configured, but is there any recommendations in the system which can improve that particular thing, improve the costing kind of thing? And that's again, that could be an advanced level where we go and looks at the pricing, where I'm not looking at the itineraries, I'm not looking at the location master, rather I am looking at the result of the price and how the system can enable me to find a better pricing kind of thing. That could be one very good thing, because eventually whatever we do in logistics is to maintain that COGS, right? To ensure that the customer gets the best price at every level, both at manufacturing and the distribution level. And this can also be very thing where, that is where the power of intelligence comes. It's not about me doing some simulation and finding out what is my best kind of thing.
Just to add on to that one, another use case that at least we've been exploring and think, Sravagya, you spoke about it as well, right? Forecast in terms of the capacity that we need to manage our transportation in near time, and it's maybe a short term plus a long term forecast in terms of the capacity that you need to manage the operations that we have, the scale at which we operate at Unilever and the volume that we operate in, the requirements of trucks for foreseeable future, that's another piece that we have been always been looking at. And how do we better forecast that so that my procurement, my rate negotiations also can happen in time so that I have a better cost metric to support that. So that's another important unique use case. I think we are progressing on that one, I hope.
Right, and I think for industry like yours and for food and certain these kind of industries are also depending, they have seasonality in picture. So it becomes more important from forecasting the demand in terms of how many trucks of what kind you need, fleet forecasting and basically not just the demand and supply thing, but coming to the logistics capacity forecasting, that becomes very important. And the trend analysis on this, again built upon multi-year data, how basically it is behaving, how the trends are there and how to predict it for the future, considering multiple parameters in terms of the organization growth, focus, key KPIs in the past and how you want to do it in future. I think that is somewhere AI can really help. So those can be really good cases. Great. So we now open for audience to contribute or ask any queries or any thoughts from the audience. We'll be happy to understand and have some inputs from you. Anyone is having any query, please raise your hand and we'll be getting the mics to you.
Data correction, because what you said right now, what the problem which was BK was talking about, the issue was we can correct from a standard source the destination masters and things masters. The issue is that we have a 60 years old legacy of customer vendor database and customer and vendor database, where the pin code or the city name not only misspelled, but they are also at different locations. Pin code was not put in the pin code placeholder, it was put in some other placeholder. Now the biggest question, the biggest problem we have, we can change all these things, but then also we have to change the entire vendor master or the customer master also to be corrected. Then only we can have a one-to-one match. So could there be any process? Because otherwise it becomes a hugely laborious process. So use of technology to correct this. That's what I need to know.
I can answer that because we have recently implemented that. What we have done is the same Excel upload, we are extracting and doing that one. So what we have done is we have created an Excel macro. That means inside an Excel. So once you extract the data, place it in an Excel. We have connected to one of the distance calculation tool. Again, you can use a Here API or a Google API. So what that system does it goes to that API, submits this, it gets back the actual names and the values, whatever it is there. The Excel gets pre-populated with that particular value, then we submit. So yes, as rightly said, don't just go and upload everything. We got it Excel. In Excel, a simple macro, it just calls an API call to that particular system, adjust all these values, and then re-updates. And that is where we were able to solve these duplicates.
Is it possible to re-upload it into vendor master?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, OTM has something called insert and update. Even after inserting, you can update the values once again.
So,
Yeah.
So I think, see, there can be various approaches from very basic ones to very advanced ones. I think that depends on the gravity of the problem and the volume of the data you have, and there has to be the right strategy to handle that. I'm sure many people here can talk about that, but I think with the paucity of time, we'll move forward and we can definitely answer your queries. But in a nutshell, yes, this can be handled. But the strategy depends upon analysis of the data, what are the volumes, what is the gravity, and what is the impact. Then I think selection of the right strategy is the key. Any further queries or inputs?
Hi, Abhishek here. This side, Nikhil. Here, Abhishek here from DHL. So I have a question. So from my experience, what I have seen in DHL, we all are talking about AI and lot of stuff, but I see we are working on very critical things like bulk plan AI, building stuff like that. But I still feel we need to focus on basic things first, like getting AI into day-to-day things what business does. For example, as my friend said, master data, right? Service provider connection. Lot of tickets or a lot of things what we do in day-to-day life comes from that area. Bulk plan or these complicated things are done by very limited set of group, which are our group, right? But we are focusing more on our life, making our life easy. But what about making life of those guys who are in thousands? We are in hundreds, but those are in thousands. And if we fix that piece, it will really help to increase the value of whole AI in terms of money, also in terms of time also. So what's your thoughts on this?
We are sailing the same boat, so I can feel what you say. So, yeah, that is the reason in the 3 points what I mentioned, the 80-20 rule, right? 80% what is being done, like bulk plan is just 20%, right? 80% is the data related to the driver management or the location management or the way we are executing that one. And that's where, like the example what I said about how you can massage the data in a proper AI model before we upload that thing. So that's exactly what we are also focusing in our organization is that 80% which is supposed to be touched by the ground force, that's the area where we are focusing now. And the simple example, as I said, right, is you don't need to create a very big intelligent kind of thing. Your Excel with the Excel macro, because Excel is very powerful, not to disregard its power. But if you add a particular API models into your Excel, that can also clear or clean your data before it goes and starts using kind of thing. So that's an area, yes, you can work on that 80 thumb rule is concerned and it will work. It will work, I would say.
We will take couple of questions, last questions. Anybody wants to say anything on this?
Maybe I'll attempt it.
Yeah. Ram, that's a very interesting thought when you brought IoT. The only thought I have on that is we did experiment that, especially when I started this GPS. Again, food for thought for whoever wants to do this, if there is a deep pocket for you. So the way what we have done is exactly the GPS. When a vehicle goes inside a GPS geo coordinate, geofence, and then it comes out, we assume that it is delivered, right? So we have invested in an IoT device which captures the weight, especially the tire pressure and all other stuff. We captures the weight. So the way we have done is before it enters the GPS geofence, what was that particular weight it loaded from the IoT device, and when it exited, what was the difference of it? If the difference matches that order delivery, that particular weight and volume with a very threshold, we considered it as delivered. And that's a very good intelligence. But investing in that GPS device, investing in that particular thing is very cumbersome, especially somebody who's working in India. A driver may have a smartphone, but if you ask him to implement or use our mobile app, he will say, sir, mere paas smartphone nahi hai. One, two, sir, internet lagega, 500 rupees you have to pay to me. So that's the mindset. So to adopting, this is also one of the things. But again, as I said, that's possible if you have this kind of IoT devices fixed in the vehicle, if it comes from OEM kind of thing. So that intelligence can be brought and then built into the system kind of thing. But again, it's not cost efficient at this point of time, but you are right. These things can enable us to know where is the empty truck moving, which side it is moving, then ensure that there's a load which is automatically applied to that and use it as a return truck kind of thing. You had a question?
Yeah, I just had one last question, maybe not to Saurabh. What's your thoughts on AI guardrails? Guardrails to be set up for AI.
Guardrails for AI.
Guardrails.
What would be the guardrails for AI?
To make it very simple, again, it has to be a digital twin based model is what I always feel, because there is always a jugaad. Logistics cannot be 100% driven. I was looking at one very Instagram funny reel. A guy has attached a generator to a Tesla car. That's jugaad, right? Tesla, it can go any miles with EV, but EV will die sometime. And over-intelligence will also kill sometime. So if you apply an artificial intelligence, which is a digital twin model, and the reason I'm little bit passionate on digital twins is because I'm doing my PhD in digital twins. So that's why I'm saying that if you have that small balance with a digital twin, a human with the intelligence, whatever we are having, that's the best place where you can have it. But leaving in logistics everything to intelligence is always going to be not that good. But digital twins based AI, you can always decide how far human can set back and how far intelligence can come, depending on the use cases. But an AI with always digital twin is the way I would always feel. And I'm sure 100% when you go, it will go there, but somewhere it will again step back and say that, okay, this is the combination I will maintain. That could be 80-20 or 90-10, we don't know. But there will be a human touch, and that's where digital twins will collaborate, I would say.
So, is it okay if outside panel also contribute in this answer?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so to add on what Chakri was saying, I think guardrails in any application, including AI, because the kind of scope and the abilities are far more than with the traditional, compared to the traditional applications, are very important. And one of the things, since we are actively working on that part, that has been our, one of the core pillar of what we are trying to deliver. So a couple of factors comes in the picture. One thing is what is allowed as an answer or the feedback compared to what is not allowed is a very significant aspect. So we do something called negative testing. It's a common thing, but in the AI as well, asking something completely garbage and expecting AI to understand that and not to get into a conversation with the user is a very important aspect. That is one. Second is the security. So we are also working on that from the user perspective, what user has access to. So for example, me and Nikhil are working as the two guys, but working in a separate access level. And I tried to ask what only Nikhil have access to and I don't. AI should not allow me to get that answer. Should say. So that is another aspect of we are putting that. And finally, boundaries of what it can be done, what it cannot be done, because I know for the time being we are not looking into the cost and everything, because we are still learning, as we say that walk, crawl, or run, or whichever format. But over the time, we have to consider the token counts as well. We also have to consider how much is going to cost you and the customer and whoever is providing the LLM AI services. So those things are being considered, and those who are working, I have seen a couple of presentations. So those who are working, I believe that these are equally important, if not more, compared to what you are trying to answer to. So we should not be keeping these in the back burner and saying, yeah, we'll see this later. That's not the approach. It should be in the forefront along with what solution you are attempting.
All right. I think one of the key things is, one of the key features in OTM, if we talk about, is domain-based segregation, VPD-based segregation, user role and access control, right? And I think in any of these AI solutions, a user persona-based thing has to be there, because if that is not there, as you rightly said, different access, I can access, let's say I am a user at a ground level who is working into some other operations, but I should not have visibility to, let's say, what is the rate for transportation from one place to another, right? So those kind of checks and controls are very much required. And I think that replication of that kind of a security model, access control, role-based thing, a user admin in your AI solution, right? So those kind of things are pretty much important. I think, but does that answer your question?
So basically data democratization is very important. And see, AI has the capability to revolutionize the logistics sector in metal industry. Only few things which we have to keep in mind, basically fix the basics first, right? Keep your home clean, right? Then the data quality, what we discussed about. Integrate the external systems from where you want to bring data into a central, maybe data warehouse, data lake. So you should have a strong backend with you. Then only you can implement the AI over it.
Right,
I think one more question here and then we'll wrap up, if that's okay.
All of us has a limited amount of time and resources and money to spend. So as you are a shipper, what's the one thing you would do right now to solve your business challenge as, let's say, your chief supply chain officer is guiding you along? Thank you.
On a lighter note, you have touched, where will my company spend money? I have an answer. And another side, you also asked me, as sitting as an AI panel, how do I advocate for AI? Which is a conflict of interest, as she said, guardrail. I have to put that now and cannot answer that.
So if I can answer your question from our industry, basically, see, in metal, 90% is basically inward and 10% or 8% is outward, right? So first of all, in my opinion, what I would like to do, I will try to understand the logistics pain points. Then, after that, I will see the ROI, because the pain points will derive where I need to put more money, correct? And then I will see the KPIs which we are going to meet it. So that is where I will try to put money into it.
Sounds great. Thank you to all our panelists. We'll close there. I think really good discussion. I'd like to invite Sundar up, and we'll keep you there. We'll hand out the plaques.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this panel discussion. And now Sundar is going to felicitate the panelists. Thank you.
I think that I'm from Oracle, so one of your recommendations, Oracle, is well taken. start simple, 80%, focus on the 80% majority. That's a very good advice for us. One thing we have done is we are also building a strong foundation so that whatever we will build now can sustain a long time. So some of the things that Sarvagya pointed out. That's a key thing, having guardrails. That's very important, not only for the responses, but also for the outbound prompts to put some guardrails so that users do not ask some questions that may end up giving bad answers. But your point of 80-20 rule, that's excellent, because that's also one thing that we are focusing on while we are working on very complex diagnostics tool for issue resolution, which is like very small portion, which is only for bulk plan. The same tool, same set of agents is also going to help us in building those small business use cases that will give major benefits. So I'm very confident that what we have done with so far with building the framework is actually laid a very strong foundation for the future. And thank you for all the nice insights. Really, really wonderful.